Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're diving into something that sounds, well, ancient, but is actually the ultimate cure for our very modern mental exhaustion. It's called the Diamond Sutra. Now, right off the bat, don't let that name intimidate you. This isn't some dusty, complicated religious book meant only for monks meditating in remote caves. As our sources reveal, it's actually a highly practical, deeply comforting tool that's specifically designed to tackle our everyday run-of-the-mill anxieties.
So let's just jump right in. I want you to ask yourself, where is your mind literally right at this exact second? Are you truly here, just hanging out, listening to my voice and taking in these ideas? Or is a little part of your brain wandering off? Are you secretly stressing about an unread email, or maybe replaying some weird conversation you had yesterday, or even just trying to figure out what you're going to have for dinner tonight? Just take a second and notice it.
And this brings us to what the sources describe as the exhausted modern mind. Think about it. Our physical bodies are sitting right here in the present moment, but our minds are scattered miles away. We replay yesterday's embarrassing moments on an endless loop. We get incredibly anxious about tomorrow's big meeting. We eat our meals while mindlessly scrolling through our phones, not even tasting the food. We've all been there, walking down the street while having a full-blown, heated argument with someone entirely in our own heads. This massive split, your body is here but your mind is elsewhere, is the absolute root of our exhaustion.
Enter the Diamond Sutra. Now, when the text says diamond, it isn't talking about a shiny little gemstone on a wedding ring. Our sources explain that the diamond actually represents the diamond sword of wisdom. It's this indestructible, remarkably sharp tool. Think of it like a sudden flash of lightning in the dark. It's meant to slice right through the noise, the clutter, and all the illusions of our chaotic minds so we can, finally, just see things clearly.
To really understand how this wisdom works, let's look at the fish pond perspective. I love this analogy because it's so simple, even a child could understand it. Imagine you're a fish inside a tiny, crowded pond. You're swimming in the water, fighting for limited resources, you're super emotional, and you are completely stuck in the daily game of survival. But true wisdom is simply the ability to jump out of the pond. From up there on the bank, you see the whole system. You find some distance. The sources note that making this simple mental shift creates a powerful 90-second emotional reset. You aren't caught up in the drama anymore. You can finally see the bigger picture.
Let's look at how this builds into the absolute core lesson of the entire sutra. It boils down to this quote: "Dwell nowhere and bring forth that mind." Just 7 words. But these exact 7 words are literally legendary. Why? Because hundreds of years ago, an illiterate woodcutter named Hu Neng heard them being read aloud in the street, and in an absolute instant, he completely understood the universe. He wasn't some fancy scholar, he was just a guy carrying wood for a living. That proves this isn't some complicated academic theory. This is meant for everyone.
So what does it mean to dwell? Well, think of your mind like a giant tube of superglue. Dwelling is when your thoughts get permanently stuck to something. You get glued to an insult someone threw at you yesterday. You get glued to a crippling fear about tomorrow. Or maybe you're glued to a very specific expectation of how things should be. When your mind acts like glue, it totally loses its natural ability to flow like water. Honestly, all our mental exhaustion happens simply because we get glued to an idea and we just can't peel ourselves off it.
How do we unglue ourselves? How do we practice non-attachment? Imagine you are holding a beautiful, priceless gem. If you hold it tightly with a clenched fist, you're terrified of losing it, right? Your hand is physically tense, you have absolutely zero freedom, and you're completely attached. But now, picture an open palm. The gem still rests safely right there in your hand, but you aren't gripping it for dear life. You have true freedom and ease. True wealth and peace come from holding life with an open palm. If something comes along, great. If it goes, you just let it go without the superglue.
Now, this might sound like high-level philosophy, but it's actually incredibly grounded in everyday life. Just look at the profound simplicity of the Buddha himself as described in our sources. Step 1, he begged for food door to door, without judging who was rich or poor. Step 2, he ate his meal completely focused on the taste. Step 3, he washed his feet, feeling only the pure awareness of the cool water. And Step 4, he sat down in peace. His ultimate enlightenment wasn't magic, it was simply doing everyday chores with complete, unglued focus.
And that is the crucial point for us today. True wisdom is literally sitting right there in the greasy dishes in your sink. You absolutely don't need to go climb a mountain or find a mystic cave to be enlightened. True enlightenment is washing the dishes while only thinking about washing the dishes. Feeling the warm water, feeling the slippery soap, not stressing over tomorrow's problems, not being glued to yesterday's arguments, just being right there, fully present in the sink.
But, it kind of makes you wonder, why is the mind so easily glued to things that aren't even real? Like, why do we get so deeply stuck in our own heads, making ourselves absolutely miserable over things that aren't even happening right in front of us?
Our sources explain this through the concept of the illusion of time. Think about it. The past mind cannot be grasped because it's already gone. It's literally just a memory movie playing in your head. The future mind cannot be grasped because it hasn't happened yet. It's just an imagination movie based on your worries. And the present mind, well, you can't grasp that either, because the very second you say now, it's already in the past. Mental exhaustion comes from trying to grab onto these illusions. You can't hold them any more than you can hold on to smoke.
To help us finally let go of this heavy, exhausting grip, the sutra wraps up with 6 incredibly beautiful analogies. It says that everything that stresses us out, everything we constantly chase, is like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow, morning dew, or a flash of lightning. Just think about a bubble for a second. It's perfectly beautiful, drifting through the air, and then, pop, it's completely gone. That's exactly what our worries are. That's what our daily dramas are. Fleeting, temporary. If you know it's just a bubble, you stop trying to grab it with a clenched fist.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Doesn't this sound a bit sad or passive? Not at all. Actually, scratch that. It's the exact opposite. Waking up within the dream doesn't mean you stop playing. It means you can finally enjoy the game. You don't escape life. You still go to work. You still love your family. You still help others. But you do it all with an open palm. You do it without the heavy burden of your ego being glued to the outcome. You are completely free to just play brilliantly without all that exhaustion.
Which brings us to our final thought for today. If life is really just a beautiful, fleeting dream, a bubble just ready to pop, how will you choose to play your part today? Will you walk around with a clenched fist, totally exhausted and glued to the past? Or will you open your palm, unglue your mind, and go wash those dishes with a sense of total freedom? The choice is entirely yours. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it brought you some clarity, and I'll see you next time.